How I Met Your Mother is a show that has some very sincere and mature moments, but some other times it will have the characters do some of the weirdest shit imaginable. There are a lot of serious topics that the show goes over, but the main appeal for many is the fun, light-hearted adventures the characters go on. In the episode Girls vs. Suits, there are a lot of major plot implications concerning Ted's quest to find his soulmate, with him dating the mother's roommate and learning the first things about his future wife. But the other storyline focuses on Barney contemplating whether to give up all of his suits to sleep with a really attractive woman, which then turns into a big musical number on why he loves his suits so much. This can be a really silly show when it wants to be, and there's a lot of charm to it. In a series with a lot of well-executed, mature and serious moments, it's also important to recognise and enjoy some of the mindless fun it also provides. One of these episodes is Season 4, Episode 15, The Stinsons, where Barney fakes his entire family. That enough is already an outlandish concept, even though it's probably not all too surprising since this is Barney we're talking about. This episode cranks the randomness to 11 with a lot of funny gags and plot twists. So how did we get in this position in the first place? This episode opens with the gang being concerned about how Barney has been acting, as he hasn't been his regular self recently. They suspect that he's hiding a girlfriend from the group after Ted saw him buy flowers from somewhere and Marshall heard him on a call with someone organising a day out. When Barney abruptly leaves the bar, the rest are suspicious and decide to follow behind in a cab. The trip takes them all the way to the suburbs in Staten Island, and when Barney answers the door, the gang storms right in, wondering who this secret partner is. We then cut to a shot of an older woman, and the gang are a bit shocked until Barney tells them that this is actually his mother, Loretta. This is the first canonical appearance of Loretta in the series, besides a flashback scene where we can only hear her voice. Loretta reveals that she and Barney have quite a close relationship, and Lily especially thinks it's adorable. But Barney is still desperate to try and get them out of the house. That's when we see a younger woman come down the stairs and Barney introduces Betty to the gang, who also happens to be his wife. And before they even have time to process it, a kid comes running past who also happens to be his son, named Tyler. The son is played by Zachary Gordon, who is most famous for playing Greg Heffley in the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid trilogy, and he also played another character earlier in the series. Barney gets the rest of the gang alone to explain that this family isn't real, and he hired actors to play his wife and child. 7 years ago, Loretta was really sick, and after raising Barney and James as a single mother, her only wish was for them to not end up being lonely like she was. Barney, being very appreciative of everything Loretta has provided to him, wanted to see her wish come true before she died, so he hired an actress to play his fiancée. Loretta was able to miraculously recover, but that meant the lie had to continue, and that also meant bringing a child into the equation, and it's continued up until this very day. Throughout the night, the gang learn more about Barney's childhood, including his favourite movies as a kid. One being The Karate Kid, but it turns out he viewed the plot of the film in an unusually different way, thinking the main antagonist Johnny Lawrence was the hero of the story instead of Daniel LaRusso. This becomes a running gag throughout the series, leading up to a very big payoff with both Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka making cameos in the show. The gang split up and begin to socialise with Barney's family, both real and fake. Ted approaches Betty and says that he recognises her from one of her shows that she was a part of, and confesses that he always wanted to be an actor when he was younger, so Betty gives him some valuable tips that will definitely come back later in the episode. There's also a small subplot with Tyler and Robin where they bond over their discontent about their current jobs, with Robin as a news reporter and Tyler playing Barney's son. A lot of it is just Tyler unintentionally insulting her while trying to give her compliments. We then cut to Marshall and Lily conversing with Loretta as she admits that she wasn't always the best mother to Barney, and wonders how he became such a perfect person. Out of guilt for lying to her, both Marshall and Lily ask Barney to tell the truth about his actual life, but Barney insists that there's no turning back now after how long the lie has gone on for. Marshall, feeling guilty about also lying to her, says that she reminds him of his own mother. Lily scoffs and reveals the obvious and tells Marshall that Judy hates her, so to try and persuade Barney, they decide to tell the truths about their thoughts on the other's family.
We've been together for 12 years, baby. I think that I can handle it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I hate your mom.
Well, guess what? I hate you!
2-minute warning for meatloaf.
Meatloaf? Tyler no likey. Oh.
Grant, we have been over this a million times. You are not getting a catchphrase.
But it's funny.
Grant, I am not afraid to recast.
I'm probably going to have to agree with Barney on this one. It's definitely no Zooey Mama. We now find out that Barney is quite controlling when it comes to the acting, organising scripts about things to talk about during dinner. But when the conversation comes to Tyler, he decides to go a little bit off script.
Funny story, just the other night, this little rascal had a nightmare. And when he came in to tell us what it was about, do you remember what you said, champ? Page 4.
The dinosaur bones in the museum came to life and started chasing me?
Thanks a lot, buddy. I didn't need to sleep tonight.
Barney, being a control freak, is quite angry at Tyler for not sticking with the script. Barney also threatens him when he doesn't want to eat dessert, even though he's lactose intolerant, which potentially could be considered abuse. And the night only gets worse for Barney when everybody goes into the kitchen and they find Ted and Betty kissing.
Tyler no likey.
You're not getting a catchphrase.
Barney decides to ad-lib a confrontation on the spot to try and make everything make sense to his mother, but Ted decides to improvise his own thing. We get a bunch of flashback scenes with Betty giving Ted acting tips, and then going back to the present with Ted using those tips in action.
Acting rule number 8. Don't be afraid to get physical.
You know damn well what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. And by God, I'll hear you say it. Scoundrel.
After all of this, the gang finally convinces Barney to come clean to his mother. He comes over to Loretta and initially he comes up with an even more insane lie saying that Tyler is dying and Betty will also off herself as well. But he eventually does come clean and is honest with Loretta. He states that he wanted her to think that he had a really good life with a family to make her feel proud of herself for raising a person like him. He's prepared for his mother to be shocked and disappointed at him, but she is actually quite relieved and reveals that she in fact hated both Betty and Tyler, even though she thought they were family. And on top of that, she also said that she really disliked the rest of the gang as well. Barney goes along with the last part, deciding that the truth should be left for another day. Loretta says that she will love him no matter if he's in a perfect family or forever single. A really sweet end to an insane story. On the car ride home, Ted and Betty decide to help Lily out by faking a phone call with Marshall's mother, which Marshall fully buys into. At the end of the episode, the gang are at the bar and Barney reveals it's more than just the Karate Kid he viewed differently. He also mistook the villain as the heroes in films like Die Hard and Terminator, and my personal favourite, The Breakfast Club, where he only likes Richard Vernon because he's the only person in the film that's wearing a suit. This is just a really dumb episode of the show. The extreme lengths that Barney goes to do stuff isn't all surprising considering the other things he's done throughout the series, but it doesn't make it any less entertaining. This was also the episode that first introduced Loretta to the series, and she'll make quite a few appearances later on in the show as well. I really like how her and Barney's relationship was first established in this episode. Barney going through all this hassle to try and make Loretta feel really proud of herself for raising a perfect son shows the appreciation Barney has for her looking after both him and his brother as a single parent. And the relationship is explored further throughout the rest of the show, and there are some really wholesome moments between the two. The lengths that Barney goes to try and make his mother happy is endearing and continues to build his character. As the show progressed, we slowly got to know more about Barney's personal life. At the start of the series, he's just presented as a ladies' man with his only insecurity being worried that Ted isn't his best friend. But slowly and surely we get to see the different aspects of his life separate from when he's hanging out with his friends, whether it's his past embarrassing moments or even if it's just seeing his apartment for the first time like in season 2. And this is quite a significant episode in Barney's development as a character overall. It's the first time the gang meets his mother and they get their first glimpse of what his childhood was like. And this episode is quite important to future events as well. They demonstrate the lengths he goes to do something for a significant person in his life, which we then see with Barney's long-form plan to propose to Robin. This episode was a really large stepping stone for his character, forcing him to go outside his comfort zone. He lets the gang stay and visit his childhood home and let them know about previous parts of his life, as well as finally telling Loretta about the person he has actually become. Even though for a lot of the episode they depict him as an insane cartoon character, at the end they really humanize him with his relationships with the most important people in his life. The rest of the gang also get their moments to shine in the episode as well. Ted and Marshall especially have some really funny gags. Robin is a bit sidelined compared to the rest of the gang and was really only involved with the Tyler side plot. Overall, this is a really entertaining episode that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what the show loves to do from time to time. The episodes that are just really wild in concept end up making for some of the most memorable moments in the show. It started off relatively tame compared to what would come after. In the third episode of the show, Barney takes Ted on an adventure which started with him trying to pick up girls at an airport, to them being stuck in Philly, and to them licking the Liberty Bell. And even stuff later like the Robin Sparkles saga is ridiculous on paper, but it's so well executed that it fits in seamlessly with the show. And it gets to extremes like organising a game show to decide who's going to be the godparent of Marshall and Lily's children. They do it in a way where it feels natural and in character to pull off these insane concepts, so having a character like Barney who is loaded with cash doing some of the most ridiculous things feels very in character for him. Like with all the services he has to try and hook up with girls, it's believable because it's well established that he would go to extreme efforts to try and achieve things even if it's for the smallest reward. And even in this episode, he hired actors to play his family so his mother would be fulfilled with the person he became. They're able to mix that while simultaneously having important character growth, like at the end of the episode when Barney comes clean about everything. Their bonds strengthen and we get a really satisfying outcome as the audience. How I Met Your Mother is really creative with its storytelling, whether it's the episodes that explore different structures or the episodes that have a strong emotional core. But sometimes the attention should be put on some of the more ridiculous episodes of the show, and appreciate some of the dumb things the characters do in the series, and this is just one of many episodes that do this.